Layla Grace was born in 2005. She was born with a heart condition that was diagnosed in 2007 in Aberdeen in Scotland. And we used to travel about doing the gypsy fairs, working on the gypsy fairs. And then we stopped in Birmingham in 2012. Layla Grace fell 12 feet, fracture on the skull, bleed on the brain. She was diagnosed by Birmingham Children's Hospital. They told us that she was not allowed to move or anything like that. But you imagine we set up an unauthorized encampment. So the council's telling us to move, the hospital's telling us to stay. And then we stopped getting medical attention and we didn't get a follow up till 2017 because we didn't have a postcode and we couldn't get a GP. So I finally took on a house and stayed at the side of a house to try and get medical attention. So you think when we took on the house, we had a postcode, we'll be able to get medical attention. No, that wasn't the situation. So British Red Cross and I tested 9 GPs, 8 in Birmingham, and every one of them refused us. So that's a child with a bleeding brain and a life-threatening heart condition. We stepped over the border into Solihull and the first GP said they would accept us. So then what we did was we done a mystery shop and we told the CCG that we were going to do the mystery shop. So the CCG trained all their GPs over 6 months. They trained them twice on what to do if someone presented and they were an unauthorized encampment. What you had to do was use the street name and use the postcode of the GPs. So out of 26 GPs trained twice, only one would follow the correct procedure. The report was that bad that the CCG blocked the report, and myself and the British Red Cross had to fight to get the report out. So you can read the mystery shopper report, but that's the amended copy. That's the only way they would release it if we said that the report could be amended. So then when we started to get medical attention for Layla Grace, yay. So the GP that we got would not give her a referral to help her. The GP was so nasty that it became frightening to go to the GP. And then when we finally got a stand-in GP, a locum GP, she helped us to get a referral. Very nice woman, helped us to get a referral to Children's Hospital. So Layla Grace went to Children's Hospital to see neurology and for cardiology. At cardiology, the first consultant that we had was really mean with Layla Grace. And then the second one that we had told Layla Grace that he would burn her heart. How could you say that to a small child? How could you say to a small child that you would burn her heart? I asked him what a letter was. He sent me a letter, and I asked one of my friends who's an anaesthetist to tell me what the letter meant because obviously it was so complicated. But my friend, he's like, just ask the cardiologist what it is. He says, I don't even understand what's written there. So when I'd asked the consultant, he says, I didn't expect someone like you to even be able to read the letter. So then what happened was Layla Grace was put to Great Ormond Street in London. Amazing. They didn't treat us badly or give us a hard time. So Layla Grace has a heart condition, and you imagine every time when she goes to the hospital, not Great Ormond Street, when she went to Birmingham Children's Hospital, she would have a hard time. And during lockdown, Layla Grace was told by Great Ormond Street that she had to go in lockdown before everyone else, obviously because of her heart condition. And we had 2 ambulance people that came out. Her heart was playing up so badly. And they didn't want to take her to hospital because of the COVID virus. So they stayed with us for 4 hours. It was a man and lady ambulance crew. They were lovely. Layla Grace got on with them like a house on fire. And then what happened was when they had to leave after her heart had settled down and she was fine and things like that, the ambulance man fills in, where it's check your name, check your phone number, the usual things that they do on the tablet before they leave you. And when he said ethnicity, white British, and I corrected him and says, no, we're British Romany gypsies, he got extremely angry. He got so angry that he would not put down British gypsy. He then realised what we were. He thought we were white British, but we weren't white British. And the fact that he'd sat with us for 4 hours and got on with us made him so upset that he even started arguing with the woman ambulance driver. Because at this point, I don't want to argue with him. I'm saying, just put anything down. And he's like, no, you're white British. I'm putting down, I'm like, just put anything down. And so then the ambulance woman started to argue. She said, just put anything you want, because she knew this was not acceptable behaviour. So that man phoned the social services on us. How can you spend 4 hours with a family, get on so well with them, and then the minute you found out their ethnicity, completely change? You think he's the only one. I think that with the social services, even our neighbours where we were in the settled community in the houses, we were like on speed dial with social services. So you imagine Lola Grace would go to Great Ormond Street and she'd have like heart monitors on her legs, on her arms, on her chest. And people would phone up saying she was covered in bruises. One person had phoned up the social services saying that my son had beaten me. So we had social services come and visit us all the time. We're the only community where they use a section in the social work department to remove your children without first discussing it with you. There's a research done by Birmingham University, and it will show you that we have the most children, our children are the children that are most taken by social services for being a British Romany Gypsy. And you imagine if I say to Layla Grace now, we have to take you to the doctors for whatever reason, that causes major trauma. She has a good neurologist though. So Dr. Kumar's her neurologist, and Dr. Kumar sees Layla Grace as a person. The GP surgery should be punished. There should be consequences for not accepting someone based on their ethnicity. That's anyone, not just British Romanis and travellers. And all we're asking is see us as people. Same again. And how could you be cruel to a child? How could anyone, regardless of the ethnicity of that child, how could anyone be cruel to a child? But it's acceptable to be cruel to our children because they're British Romany Gypsies or travellers. Because we deal with so many people with medical problems, then it makes you tired. You understand? It's tiring saying the same things day in and day out. Don't say about cohesion, equalities, and all this when it's pure nonsense. Either include everyone or don't say you're inclusive.